Kia ora everybody, my name is Hemi Newman, and you all saw me at the special seminar I went to today, and I gave you a copy of this, alright, and for you business people who've got this, you are very lucky, right, but I'm going to explain to you the dynamics of it, right, so I just covered up my personal information so people can't be a nuisance for me. So you see here, we've got here the desire for our target market are going to want to meet the superstars. And this target market I'm talking about are what we call the digital generation. And the digital generation are driving social media. The digital generation are aged 6 to 16. Right, and the proof of this, because I've asked other generations, they say, oh, yeah, that's my generation driving it, you know, the X and Y generation. I said, what a load of garbage. Because over in the UK, these researchers went into the schools and they researched all the 6 to 16-year-olds, and they found that here little Tebbies were waking up 10 times a night to check their social media when they should be sleeping. And they found that 53% of them were waking up 10 times a night to check their social media. See, because the difference between them and myself, I'm a baby boomer, I'm 61, we wouldn't have the internet back in those days, and our friends were all out around the local neighbourhoods or around the local township. But today, their friends are all around the planet in a 24-hour time, thanks to the internet. So they're actually driving social media. And 6 or 16-year-olds are wonderful. And these little Tebbies, they should be sleeping, but they're not. They're on there checking all their social media, particularly Instagram and the blogs. So they're driving it, 53% of them, 10 times a night, and they got a couple of hundred text messages in the morning. So, well, an interesting thing the researchers found was that their parents don't actually know that they're doing this, you see, and they're nodding off at school. And they have what they call FOMO, fear of missing out, and that's why they're waking up all through the night to check out what's happening on social media, because all their friends are around 24 hours around the planet. But that's not good for them. It's not healthy. Parents don't know, and they haven't told their parents because the parents take the phones off them, right? So why tell your parents? So they are the ones driving social media. Now, the thing is, I've got some documents for everybody to have a look at. I'm sending you, right, there's 6 documents I'm sending you. Now, the first one is this one. I see there, with the little child. That's the first one, and it's got the Live Aid concert for Africa. So you can check that out. And that's the second one is what we're doing about it, alright? The key points about it and how it all works. So you can check that one out. See, it's in black and white, I don't have colour print here. And then the third one is this one. This is the one you want to study really carefully. This is Roger Hamilton, and he's the founder of Wealth Dynamics. He has a learning network of entrepreneurs from all around the world, 850,000, I'm one of them, and they feed him information, and he put together these top trends, alright, the top trends for 2017. And what Roger was saying, and his networks are all saying, is that the personal learning networks are going to supersede Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the whole lot. They're going to be superseded by the personal learning networks, which is what I got. And my one is called the Indigenous Peoples Learning Network. How fantastic is that? So all these learning networks are now coming out for all sorts of things, from hairstyling to doing business to water skiing, all sorts of things. So personal learning networks, you can learn all different things, and it's driven by the YouTubers and also by the influencers. And the people in the learning networks are united by a shared purpose, like all the ones of the environment. You know, they go to Greenpeace or they go to Marrakesh, and They have shared purpose. But on these learning networks, there's no commercial. It's fantastic. Whereas you go to Facebook and all these other ones, man, they get hammered with these darn commercials, especially things like YouTube. But you don't get that on the learning networks. So the learning networks are going to supersede the all the social media that we know today, and it's done through what we call the three-lane economy: the fast lane, middle lane, and the slow lane. If you watch my videos, the one on sustainable cities in paradise, it's the 2-hour video. You'll learn heaps about these global paradigm shifts and what the new trends are for the future. And if you get to the front end of these global paradigm shifts or new revolutions, you will make a lot of money, just like Bill Gates did, because he got at the front end of the technology revolution, right? Steve Jobs with the mobile phones and Apple laptops and stuff, and so did Walt Disney with the theme parks, and also so did good old Sir Richard Branson with the Virgin Records. Man, that was brilliant what he did there. So these are the revolutions for the future you want to watch. The number one, the biggest of all, is the debt-free sustainable cities, which is what we do, right? And then we have the transition to sustainable technologies. That's going to be forced upon mankind when World War III climate change happens in November, and they cut up all those railway tracks that carry coal around the planet. So that's going to force everybody to go green or go bust. And you got the children and young people's revolution, which is these influencers and these YouTubers that are coming in and developing personal learning networks. And then you got the indigenous people's revolution, man. We're going to help the indigenous people's revolution rise to power. So that's where we're coming from. And, you know, we are going to really make it happen. Now, one of the things Tali said to me was, she didn't like this picture. See this picture here of the little child? Now, there's a reason that we got that picture there, is that, you see, in the DNA of all Africans, all descendants from Africa, your DNA goes right back to the time of Adam and Eve, and in the DNA of these people is this slavery. And that little child there with the chain represents the slavery. So when they look at this, they are going to be upset. And they're going to want to back us, because if you have a look there, what are we doing? It's we're running 6 weekends of the Live Aid weekend concerts and festivals, concert festivals for Africa. We'll be able to raise $3 billion per concert, 6 concerts per weekend. It's $18 billion over a weekend, and times 6 weekends, that's $108 billion that we are donating to Africa, right? This is the concept of giving. It's to provide the HIV medications. It's to help the children who are crying, who are sad, who are lonely, depressed or whatever, or who haven't got any food, so we can provide the food and things for them too. So it's for the children. And it's also, believe it or not, for in all around the world, for people who are struggling. We can help them too. So this Live Aid concert is the 21st century version of what Bob Geldof did back in 1985 when they reached a quarter of the world's population. Was 1 billion people watched that concert. Amazing. They linked up these, you can check it online, they linked up these stadiums with all the superstars performing, and the superstars came in from everywhere to back this concert, because it was for people who were starving in Africa. But we're dealing with the children crying, and also the HIV, AIDS. They don't have the medication. They have all the doctors, and not the medications. The medications here in Western Australia or Australia is $36,000 a year. One tablet is $100, and they need one of those every day. So you're looking at that's $100 for a tablet, but these people in these developing nations, they even make $100 in a year, you know, and they need the medications, which are $100 a day. You know, how do they afford that? Well, that's where we come to rescue. We provide all this funding, $108 billion will be going into Africa. And it's the concept of giving, you know, with no conditions. We're not asking for anything in return. This is the Maori way of thinking. This is how we think. Right, and then also we're taking Ballinu Charity in there. Ballinu Charity got a 100% success rate over 20 years, saved the lives of all their Indigenous children and young people. So David Cole and I have a deal to expand around the world, and he's going to teach all the Indigenous peoples how to do what they did. And it's documented in one of the documents that we're sending you on Ballinu Charity. So it's the most marvellous charities on the planet, okay? And you know, that's what we're going to do. We're going to expand Ballinu throughout Africa as well, and the frontier and emerging markets. So this is the concept of giving with no conditions. We're not saying, you know, hey bro, we'll give you this for that. This is a traditional way of doing business. You see, I was in this seminar yesterday, and it was really focused on, you know, marketing and getting leads and lead generation, all that sort of stuff, and selling a product at the end of the day. So what we're doing here, we're not selling anything. We're helping the people in Africa. It's the concept of giving. And when you give, you see, everybody goes out and they talk about you, say, oh, these fellas are kind. You get this referral. It's called referral business, bro. You don't need to market anything, because they send all their friends to us based on loving you and trusting you for your loving kindness and goodness. So while I was in this particular seminar yesterday, I was looking for the right digital infrastructure to drive our website. Our website's online. It's the Indigenous Peoples Learning Network. It's IPLN, abbreviated, .net. That's it. It's up. It's online, but there's a massive back end, and it needs all the content creation done. You see, I haven't got time to do that and all the skills. So now that we know where we're going, we've got them lined up, these experts, to do all that sort of thing for us, and get that website running with the fast lane, middle lane, and the slow lane that you can learn about in our Sustainable Cities in Paradise video. If you watch that, you'll be mind-boggled with what you learn. So you have a look here. Our target market are the digital generation, right? And these want to meet the superstars, right? That's their desire. They are driving social media, and we're inviting them. We're going to run some competitions. We want them to make the logo, right? A competition, draw us the logo, what you think the Live Aid logo should look like for the 21st century, right? Well, Bob Geldof did it, and they developed the logo for 1985. We need one for the 21st century, which is live streaming of virtual reality music concerts is the way we're doing them, right? High tech. So we are going to run that over. I haven't got it. Oh, you say it over there. There it is. Live Aid concerts for 5,000 fans, right? 36 concerts over 6 weekends. So that's 6 concerts per weekend. So that's one at 7 o'clock in the evening on a Friday, 11 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, 3 p.m. in the afternoon Saturday, 7 p.m. in the evening Saturday evening, and the same again on the Sunday, but not in the evening on Sunday. So, you know, we're 24-hour time periods, so people can watch it live. They can put their headsets on. They're special headsets. They're exclusive. We're cutting out all the other headsets, man, and using ours, because ours is far more high-tech. There's a computer inside the headset, and or the virtual reality, so you can just download into it, and you can watch the concerts over and over again, you know, from your headset. It's a computer. Unlike this rubbish that you know, with these glasses and stuff, we're not that rubbish. And you know, you just stick your mobile phone in the glasses, like, nah, it's rubbish. No, you need total immersion, where you can't tell the difference between the superstar being in front of you or not being in front of you. All right, totally different. But the thing that we got is the MAJESTIC 3D surround sound, which, you see, I'm an entertainment promoter of hip hop. And it depends on what the quality of the sound is like in the amphitheater or inside the concert venue. And here in Perth, we've had several concert venues like out at the Burswood. That was a terrible for sound. Also, NIB Stadium's another terrible one, and also the Subi Oval, that's another terrible one. And when the Beach Boys played, that was the worst show they ever seen. But our amphitheater produces a MAJESTIC 3D surround sound. It's the most unbelievable sound you ever hear in your life. So that's over here, these concerts. But prior to the concerts, there's quite a bit of organisation, because 36 concerts, right, and if we've got 100 superstars and the support acts, that's a lot of work. So we have to have 6 months ahead of it a forum where we're bringing them all in. So there'll be about 200 participants in the forum. So all the superstars will be here because they want to go up and they want to Big Tree Valley and check out the sound, this MAJESTIC 3D surround sound. That's really what they're going to be interested in. And also they're going to plan, what concerts on what days. We've got to organise all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of things to do for these concerts, and then they got to work out their time schedules to make themselves available and all that sort of thing. So their management teams will come over as well, do business deals with us on all the promotions and everything else that's going to be done. So, and it'll be all followed on Instagram as they all come in. So there'll be all these YouTubers and influencers following all the superstars as they come over here to see us and work with us. So in among those 200 participants, we want to bring in the digital generation, 6 to 16-year-olds, because we want them actively involved in making the logo. Also, we want them involved in other areas of setting up the actual concert venue, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Alright, so there they are there, 6 16-year-olds. We've got them working with the superstar. Imagine how excited they will be when they're working with all the top-notch superstars from around the world, working with them, helping them to put up the marquees and set up the stage and all these other things. Man, it's going to be so much fun for them. They're just going to be tripping. And then we've got our new breed. This is my business, the new breed. We train and develop the rappers and the singers. And Aswan's coming down. He's a music production master, just like I am. We'll work with the rappers and we'll get them into the flow. We create what we call the happy hip hop, the clean happy hip hop music and dance civilization, right? So we're running this reality show, and you're going to be able to follow me throughout the day. I've got an awesome camera crew coming behind me. They'll be editing the information. You can watch live streams. Say if we're down in Fremantle and we've got the rappers with us, and they're freestyle rap, man. And with the Maori freestyle, by the way, we start off by singing R&B because we can. We've got good voices and we can sing. We start with R&B, clean, the R&B, singing the R&B, then we swing into the freestyle rap. In the freestyle rap, it's clean, happy hip hop, so there's no swearing, there's no foul language, there's no disgusting comments about male or female organs, private parts or anything. We don't need anything like that rubbish. There's no gangster rap, there's nothing nasty. So we'll rap about the social events happening around us. And for example, I said to one of these people that ran this seminar, I said, right now, I'd have one of my rappers, freestyle rap, we'll put some beats on, freestyle rap, and he will summarise what he learned today in your seminar. This is the sort of things we're going to be doing. So, like, we'll send out a text message through to all our fans around the world saying, hey, listen, we're down the beach this afternoon, the boys got a freestyle rap, right? And then one will pass on to the next one, next. So we start off with freestyle, with the R&B, singing R&B, swing into the freestyle rap, and then from the freestyle rap we'll swing into beatboxing. This is one individual, by the way, one individual rapper doing all this. Swings into the beatboxing, he does the beatboxing, and then he swings from there to reggae, and from reggae back to the R&B. Alright, now, there's no other rappers on the planet that can do this sort of stuff, only just us Maoris, the young Maoris, and they're beautiful looking, they're really, really talented, and they do this piece of cake. They've been doing it for a long time. So this is what we're putting out there. You're going to love it. It's very impressive. But also our rappers, they have to do skydiving, the accelerated free fall for their first jump, and then they'll be doing the base jumping around the world. They'll be doing also the a lot of the practice on the wind tunnel as well. So then they can do the Birdman skimming the cliffs. Also, we'll be sending them over to New Zealand to do the bungee jumping and all that crazy stuff down at the Queenstown. So that's what we call the new breed of superstars. They're dynamic. They're our role models of decency. They're our heroes that we pull out of the low-income areas, and they're the champions of human achievement, because we're going to be training them with our advanced human development technologies. So coming in here, as I say, we've got to run the forum. A forum will promote everything, get everybody in alignment with what we're about. Those 6 documents that I've sent you explain everything, basically. So the reality show, we're going to start running that very soon. We have a lot of followers on Instagram following us as we talk to superstars like Hank Marvin, and we'll go over and have a chat to George Benson and Alicia Keys and all these as well. We're sending our journalists over to do all that sort of stuff for us, and also our talent scouts. You can follow our talent scouts as they go into New Zealand, to the low income areas and the real dangerous areas, and find these rappers, test them, find out how good they are, and then we bring them over here, put them through training programs, everything else, put them through our advanced drug rehabilitation and recovery program, get them right, give them the good housing, everything else like this. So that's how it all works. Now, what we're doing here with the, we're promoting also our sustainable cities and the live streaming of the reality shows, and they'll be uploading, editing and uploading those into the evenings as well. Now, you're going to watch the next couple of videos is myself and Tali telling the story about Tali and how we're setting Tali up with the Michaels, because she got booted out of this place by the spoon prostitute she was staying with, and they ended up on the street, and I got along find her. But this is the video, you hear about it. But anyway, I'm setting her up because she's just gotten out of jail 2 months, and then they gave her temporary accommodation. She lost that, and then she ended up with this woman prostitute who kicked her out. So it was a bit of a mess and a bit of a stuck situation. So I said, you can camp over my place for a moment, and then what I'll do is set her up with my cause, where she says on my cause, help me to rebuild my life. Alright, how nice is that? And then all her friends, and I'm making all these corporates, right, put money into her account, right, her my cause account, right, it's non-taxable, because it's all donations from friends, people who care about her, who hear her story, and say, oh man, she got out of jail, man, because she was baking heroin, right? So home bake. So she got in trouble for that. Done 2 years. She got out and she's lost her child. We got to get her child back. The child's in custody of someone else, who's not very nice apparently. But we got to get her set up. She's set up with a good home. If you all contribute towards Tali's future, we put her into a good home. We get her, she's all this money so she can survive. Get her health right. She got really severe back pain. And also she's not well, but we'll get her right, and that's where you can all come to the party. We look up, there's the concept of giving, and you see, I'm saying to all these people and organisations that want to piggyback off the superstars and off our Live Aid concert and off our forums and off our Happy Hip Hop reality show. You see, if I'm wearing a certain brand of glasses, all our followers are going to buy it, right? If I drive a certain type of vehicle, our followers are going to buy that vehicle. I don't actually have to promote the name of the products. I just have to use them. If I drink a super nutrition product, people will buy it, right? The same with Tali. If she starts doing that too, because she's going to become a YouTuber and an influencer, because she wants to help the homeless people. So, you see, we don't actually have to promote. So, we're not advertising anything, but they see what we're wearing, and they say, I'll buy that. These are good fellas. They're doing their good deeds for Africa, for the children, for the HIV, and for the suicidal people. I'm going to back them. He says that referral marketing. You need to sell nothing, bro. You need to sell nothing because they're telling their friends, these are good people, go to them, and they can get all your technology products from mobile phones to computers, to laptops, to printers. The Bose sound system we give for 70% off because we cut out all the importers, exporters, all the middlemen, the franchisees and the licensees. They're all taking a cut. At every stage along the way, including transportation, there's taxation that's paid to the government. So there's about 7 lots. So you're paying up to 70% more than what the actual manufacturer makes. So we're getting everything delivered manufacturer direct. So instead of buying an expensive mobile phone, for $1,000, we get it for 300, right? So, we'll sell it to you for 500, and the other 20%, right? The other 200, 10% goes to the personal learning network, to Tali. If you all have her down as the personal learning network, goes to Tali. And then from the other 10% goes to our children's charity, right? So my company doesn't even take anything out because we make our money out of our new breed of superstars. So have a look here. We set Tali up with a home-based personal learning network, right? Home-based, like the operation I got here. And you see, very, very simple, very easy. She don't need to do no marketing. We'll do all that for her via our webinars. We'll promote it, right? With On24 and PAV, right? I shouldn't really put them in there, but I do like them. We'll probably use them. So, and we'll give her a Live Aid license where she can use our trademark, it's been trademarked, and make money off us from what we do, from the manufacturer direct bulk buying contracts, where, as you can see here, profit sharing, 70% saving, 50% we save for the customer, so you get a 50% price, 10% to the personal learning network, which goes to Tali, and the other 10% to our charity. So the thing is here, right? You get this in the seminar. There's a big focus on lead generation and selling a product, mate. That's a lot of work. It's not if everybody's talking about you and what you're doing with the superstars, and we've got all the digital generation who are driving social media because the naughty little Debbies should be having a sleep. But they're not because of FOMO, they're up driving the internet. So I'm saying to them, hey, you little young ones, you can come. I need 5,000 concert fans at each of those 36 concerts. And you've got to stay in, we did 2 years planning, my architect and myself, to put a resort up there. But it's a darn hold up with the crooked government because we've got to get the clearances through the blooming mining and petroleum, and they run this country and they're not going to give it to us because we're into sustainability. So we're just going to do this using another way, which I'm going to show you right now. All right, see there's the what we call the, and you'll learn about this, that's a fast lane, that's a middle lane, and that's a slow lane, all right? And this is the marketing of the future. Now come over here, check this out, man. Alright, this is our concert venue. Alright, so I'm not showing you the aerial map that we have. We've got an aerial map of this because if I show you that, people will be able to, the greedy, we call them, property speculators will be able to go to land administration and say, tell me where this is, and they'll, through the computer systems, will be able to tell exactly where it is. And then what the mongrels are going to do, they're going to buy up all the local real estate before we have a chance to raise the venture capital to do this. And I trusted this darn Maori. I told him what we're doing, and he went down into the local township and bought up all the blooming accommodation precincts, you know, hotels and stuff that we needed for our workers to build these 25 10-story high buildings as a resort there for our fans to stay there. So anyway, once the Maori Triads find out that he did that, they're going to be sorting him out. And that's an underworld organisation, very, very dangerous. And you see, because one of the things I did was I ran a charity for children and young people, and we had the drug rehabilitation, we had suicide, with the rapid suicide response and recovery. And those children were from the families of the underworld, from the Italian mafia, the Sicilian mafia, from the outlaw motorcycle gangs. And because we saved the lives of their children, we looked after them, rehoused them, everything else, with no cost, no charge, no ulterior motives, because we cared. So 3 lots of them said assassins to me and said, look, bro, you get anyone you want killed, rock, or bashed up. And I said, no, bro, we don't do this sort of thing. So you see, these underworld, when they find out what this married bloke did to us with that dirty deed, they're going to be giving him a little visit. He's not going to like it. And if they target his family, he's in real trouble. Right, so here we go. It doesn't pay to do stuff like that, folks. You should always be honest and follow the law. Right, so this is what we call Big Tree Valley, virtual reality music concert, live streaming venue. And what we got, if you look here, on the aerial photo, is a amphitheater, which is the shape of a guitar. Now, in running concerts, the quality of the sound makes a difference between it's a good concert or a bad concert. Like the Beach Boys played in the Subiaco Oval, and the sound was atrocious. And people didn't like that concert because the UNLV Stadium was another one. We have Amphitheater as well, Amphitheater Echo Bounce. So check this one out. From the aerial photo, you can see it's a guitar shape. Right, I'm an aeronautical engineer by profession. I'm also a qualified automotive engineer. We work on statistics, science and technology, physics. Right, so we know from a guitar shape it's got the sound effects of a guitar. That's what this actually has. And I was standing up there at the top of it. Now that's quite a long drop down there. That's about a mile away. That's the size of a stadium, ordinary stadium. It gives you an idea on how big this amphitheater is. So you see, it's the shape of a guitar, it's got the acoustics of a guitar, and the other thing, you see, I was standing here once, and we were running a bush camp weekend, covering leadership and team building for young people in crisis. So I'm standing here, right, and one of the young fellas, he comes and he's driving his 4-wheel drive, and it's the top's off it, and he drives down in here, and I'm standing there, and the sound, the amplification that came out of this amphitheater was unbelievable. And I thought to myself, wow, there's something in that sound, it's different. And you see, I've got Bose headsets, I take it everywhere, I wear them all the time. And Bose has got nothing on the quality of the sound. So I heard it, and as he drove down, no bull, it was louder than a Led Zeppelin or AC/DC concert, much louder, and it was only coming out this Jeep. So I said, man, there's something in this. So I come back about 3 weeks later with my mates, musos and the techno, and I said to the DJ, hey bro, bring your sound system with all the speakers and everything, and all your decks and stuff. So we came, we were stoned out of our trees. This was 7 years ago. I don't take drugs, by the way, I haven't for 7 years. So we come up here, and instead of going to the campsite, I said, no, go left. So we went down there, it's 12 o'clock at night, we come down there. I bought a generator. We started it up and started all the party lights going, and then we set up all the decks and everything, and the sound. Now, the moment he put that sound on, like with the big speakers, both of them said the 4-letter word. The 4-letter word starting with F, ending in K, because they could not believe the sound, because it's a surround sound. It's 3D. It's the same sound effects as an owl hears. And you see, with an owl's got one ear up, one ear down. Well, that ridge here, the western ridge, is up. It's higher than the eastern ridge, which is down, which gives us the 3D effect. So we've got the guitar effect, we've got the 3D effect of the owl, and to prove it, An owl can hear a mouse walking at 100 metres, right, in the quiet of night. A mouse at 100 metres. This is 3D sound. And I was standing up here one time, and one of the young guys, he had a ghetto blaster, it wasn't that big, and he's playing a song I knew, and he walked right down there, and it was about a mile right down the bottom. And when he got down there, I could hear every word coming out of that sound system, right? Now, if I stand there and he walked to there, or to even to there, I'd lose the sound, I wouldn't hear it anymore. But he was a mile away, and I could hear every word that was coming out of that sound system because I knew the song. So there's the proof that it is the same 3D sound effect that an owl has. Now, if you listen to, go on YouTube and put in there, virtual barbershop. Listen to that, it will blow you away. That's 3D surround sound. So we're putting pickups all around the amphitheater to pick up the sound, and we're integrating it into the headset of the virtual reality headset. So not only do you have virtual reality where you can't tell the difference between that superstar being in front of you and not being in front of you, right? You can't tell the difference. The other thing is you can look at the dancer, the backup dancers, and check them out in virtual reality, like you're right there. You can check out the drummer. You can check out the backup singers, right? You can check out our hip hop dance troupe, right? And as you look at the faces, you can tap on there and it'll tell you, it'll send you to their Facebook page. Oh, you can check out who they are, right? Make connection or whatever. Then you can also, that's a stage, you can also come out into the audience in virtual reality, looking back into the stage. You can also come up into the drone that'll be hovering above and look down at the concert venue in virtual reality. All right. So you see the stage there. It's a revolving stage that we've got a big infrastructure company is going to do it, and also the backstage there. And there's a walkway coming down here into the crowds with the round end on the knob on the end. And under that is a tunnel and a lift that can bring them up into the audience by surprise. Alright, so the revolving stage, the curtain, where the curtain is, comes halfway through it, and the next band is preparing backstage, and then we just 1 minute, the whole thing revolves, the other band's off, the new band's on, and straight into the music. Alright, so that's a permanent fixture. It's there all the time. We're going to have to take it down because this is our venue. It's privately owned land. It's a mini national park. This is a national park, right? It's huge, right? It's beautiful. This is ours, and all ours here too. So, where we go here? Oh, in here we've got echidnas, down here. We've got the eagle's nest up here. Like the eagles, up on the top of the trees. And we got big blue-tongued lizards up there, man. We had lunch with him one day. And he didn't want to eat our sandwiches, but he did his ours. Yeah, so he's up there. He's an old boy, man. He's really old. He's big. We're putting the wildlife rehabilitation centre in there. The reason for that, by the way, I've got to deal with the wildlife people. They're going to do it for us and look after it. We put the big cages among the bush with all the birds in there. And you have all the other animals there as well. But we monitor the birds while the concert's on. Now when those birds start flying erratic and flying into the cage and they're really upset, we shut the concert down. Just like that. And we go, each concert's worth $3 billion. Right, a 2-hour concert, 100 million people watching, times $30, $3 billion. If they are upset, we shut the concert down. Automatically, everybody's money is automatically refunded straight back into their accounts, with an apology. Sorry, we had to shut it down because our animals are upset. So if those birds are upset, so is the eagles, right? So are the crows and the magpies and the blue-tongued lizard. He'll be upset, and the echidnas will be all upset. The eagle will get stressed out. So you see, ignoramuses will run a concert like that with no consideration for our wildlife. But you say, oh, I'm the world #1 Indigenous sustainability expert. I took all this into consideration. In no way that we're going to run a concert when I know the wildlife are stressed to the hill. We shut it down. So we're putting that in for that purpose, to monitor, and the wildlife experts will be monitoring the birds, because they know their characteristics. The other thing is that, you know, we have, you know, in these stupid cities around the world, they have these Australia Day and, you know, all the New Zealand Day and all that rubbish. And they set off all the fireworks. You know, do you know that in the zoos, when they do that, they have to inject all the birds and the wildlife, because it's so upsetting them with all these booming fireworks going over above their heads. You know, and that's what imbeciles don't understand. This is what's happening to the wildlife, but we must at all time consider the wildlife. So that's you can see here. That's all the fans there. That there in the front there is the sunken stage. This infrastructure company is building that. The optic fibre network runs here. It's about 600 metres away, and we've got to bring it through underground, straight through into the to the stage. Now, the person that hooked up all the ISPs right across Australia is a friend of mine. I helped him to get the contract. The optic fibre network came into Western Australia, went up to Perth, and then went right across Australia. So he hooked the whole lot up, including Telstra, IANet, all the bigger telcos. So he's able to run a tunnel from there straight into our amphitheatre, which means we've got high-speed internet, right, 100 upload, 100 download, piece of cake. So we've got capabilities of live streaming without any problems. So those there, that's a sunken dance floor in front of the stage. So their heads are lower than the crowds. They're not interrupting the view from the crowds looking into the concert. So they dance. You know, when people dance, they're not really interested in looking up at the superstars. They're just looking at their partner who they're dancing with. Yeah. So and then there's a walkway and all that. So that little dots there, it's all a crowd around there. Those ones there are gazebos, right? You can sit in your gazebos there. Now those ones up there are good. Those up there are also big gazebos or big dance floors with beautiful luxurious couches. Also there'll be servants in there serving alcohol and food and refreshments, but you just book those out. You know, there's no cost on them to use those. You just book them, and then you bring all your friends in there. You can use virtual reality headsets, but from there you're still getting the 3D sound. By the way, the 3D sound, normally in a concert, if you're down here, the sound's coming from the stage, but this is a 3D surround sound, and when you listen to that virtual barbershop, the sound's coming in from the back of your brain, another one comes in the front, another one comes in from the left ear, another one comes in the right ear, and we're able to do that because all the pickups around the amphitheatre, and then we just put an instrument on this one, an instrument on that one, another one on this one, a voice in there, and then you've got the 3D surround sound that's coming in from different directions. The interesting thing is, wherever you stand in this amphitheatre, whether here or down there or anywhere, the sound actually comes around you just like you hear on that YouTube video when you listen to it, okay? So and that is the difference, and this is the appealing thing to all these music superstars. They're going to want to come over here so they can produce their music in 3D surround sound inside the amphitheatre, because we're setting that all up as a studio to produce music, and then you know, if they're putting their music out in our MAJESTIC 3D surround sound, you know, people are going to buy their music versus go to someone else. So now that's going to make them want to come to the forum to check it out. Now, okay, so what we've got here is we've got a quarry with all those little pebble things that they put on the side of roads. So we're going to need a whole lot of people, young people, to come and help us from the digital generation, come up there and wheelbarrows, because they're young and fit, wheelbarrows and put them along here, because we're all bush along here. We need to put pathways in with the pebbles, all right, and pebbles right through, and then also the, what do we call it, solar, the little solar lights along the footpath so that people can see their way through in the dark. It's very romantic up here, and then they get the big gazebos and, you know, all these different groups in there sitting and relaxing. So we're going to get them to come up. Not only are we going to get them to do the logo and things for us, we're going to get them also to help us to build it, and to come up and help to build the stage and everything. Now down here, the soil's really rich, and we want to put permaculture gardens in there, bio-intensive agriculture, aquaculture and animal husbandry. Up here, we have water right there, so we need to get that water up, bring in a company, and so we've got our own water to supply everybody. We also got water down here where the casuarina trees are. So, I know, sorry, it's down over here. So, if you're wondering what these are, right here, these blue ones, those are big gazebos that we've got to put up. Not gazebos, sorry, marquees. The big marquees that, and we have about 100 of the digital generation starting, mostly the teenage girls from 12 to 16, because mate, they are your best fan base. And a friend of mine was telling me that back in Frank Sinatra's day, they used to be called the White Sox. All the young girls, man, they're your best fans. So, and they're real cruisy. And so we'll have all the nails, place, you know, one of the gazebos will be set up with their salons, do their nails all for free, and then another one will be doing their hair. Another one we'll have set up for modelling shows, and they can compete in the modelling shows as well. The special modelling shows are very fancy. So that'll be good. There'll be all sorts. There'll be horse riding and all that sort of stuff. You know, the Clydesdale horses and carts and all sorts of entertainment that they want. They'll just tell us what they want. We just put it in. So the gazebo, the marquees will be all have a base and carpeted. They'll have air conditioning. I've got a company coming in that's offered to put all the air conditioning for free. That's pretty awesome. Not the air conditioning, all the solar panels to provide electricity inside these big marquees. We're putting in all the carpet and everything, and luxurious entertainment areas, you know, relaxation areas with beautiful sofas and stuff, and you know, really food to eat and all that sort of stuff. But we'll have another marquee for all the food where they can come and eat all the meals. Everything will be free. But in each one of the marquees, there'll be 50 bunk beds, right? You know, top and bottom bunk beds. They'll have their own sleeping bags, which have got our logo on it, and the pillow, which has got our logo and everything on it. And when they leave, they take it with them, because otherwise we'd have to get them dry cleaned and everything. So no, just take it home with you. So they take them, that's their souvenir. How lovely is that? And we'll have the date of that particular concert on those sleeping bags and things, and they take them home. And so when they come back for another one, they get another sleeping bag. They can keep them as memorabilia, or whatever that word is. So there'll be all sorts of things, souvenirs they can take home linked to the particular concert that they've done. Alright, so we need 50 of those. Each one holds 100, and we're going to have put in all the walkways using environmentally friendly walkways, you know, like recycled rubber or stuff like that. And we've got to do it as like a city, right? But very clean, very organised, no rubbish, and that's why we're bringing the digital generation in, because I know I can tell them, hey, look, don't throw any rubbish on the ground, you know. And the other reason we're bringing them as 16-year-olds is that they don't smoke, and if they do smoke, they're not coming. They're not on the drugs, right? Most of them aren't anyway, but the ones we're dealing with won't be anyway. So that's the most wonderful generation to work with. When you get anyone over 16, mate, they're in the drugs. We're going to find damn needles on the ground. We're going to find cigarette butts on the ground. Now, I'm going to be really angry if I ever see a cigarette butt on the ground. So we have, through the fast lane, middle lane and slow lane, all the screening processes to kick them out and get them out of our online community, because we don't want anyone using drugs, and we certainly don't want them here, because this is culturally significant land, right? So if people have got an attitude because they don't like Aboriginals, if they're not child friendly and they're not environmentally friendly, see you later. They're not coming to this precinct, right? At all, right? We don't want them. We don't want their business. We don't need their business. All right. So this gives you an idea of the concept. Also, this is beautiful, pristine wilderness. All the valleys, these different valleys. You go into one valley and there's all this white sand everywhere. Oh man, it's white sand. Go over the next valley and there's It's got moss all over, up the trees, all over the ground, even going to another valley, and this valley, you know, it's like you could swear out in the outback of Australia, everything's scorched, right? And then you get down the bottom, you hit the eagle's nest right at the top. We're going to stick a camera up there and watch where he goes. So, and because they have little bubbies there as well. And what they do is they see us eating food and they hang around, they fly above us. And if we leave the camp, they come down and raid our food and bears. The eagles. Yeah, funny. And they're big, they're wedge-tail eagles, they're huge, right? They're lovely, awesome. So they check us out while we're there. So that's the concept, folks. You can see how it works. And we're able to live stream from here all around the world in virtual reality. And we're inviting Stevie Wonder, George Benson, check them out on YouTube, folks, most dynamic music, and also Alicia Keys. So these are the old school. And we want to do this as the first one. The lead acts, of course, are going to be our new breed of virtual reality music superstars, which are our rappers that we're training. We're training all our own dance troops, the hip hop dance troops, the backup troops. We've got to recruit an orchestra as well, also our resident band. There's quite a crew, and then all the sound technicians and everything else, and the virtual reality camera crews and whatnot. It's a big project, so we need good project management to drive everything, and that's what the seminar was I went on yesterday. And by the way, that seminar I've put in what their technologies actually do is in one of the documents, but I haven't mentioned the name of the company, you see, until they put some money in the account for Look After Talia, right, which is in the next video I'm going to get you to see, read, okay? So I hope that gives you an idea on what the virtual reality music concerts are about. They're both concerts and they're also festivals. You see, the most famous concert ever, festival ever, was Woodstock. Check it out online, folks. Woodstock, they had 500,000 people rocked up for it. It was free. It had to be free at the end because they put security in the clowns. Actually, not their fault, they didn't have enough time. And they weren't that organised. But 500,000 people back in those days, 1969, man, that was a lot of people. And all the roads were blocked, and they had to fly all the superstars in because they couldn't get in, all the roads were blocked. So, and it was an absolute pigsty, you know, and people living in tents, left all the rubbish behind. That's what happens at festivals. But in this one, it's going to be the digital generation. They're going to be living in these gazebos. You know, everything is environmentally friendly. They're not chucking any rubbish on. There won't be any needles on the ground or smokes. It'll be clean, it'll be organised, and when they come, they can use augmented reality to find their bunk, because it'll be allocated for them. So everything will be there ready for them, and you know, GPS to find where they are. Whereas with the concerts I've been to in the past, like Sweetwater's Festival, which is New Zealand's version of Woodstock, I went to the festival, mate, it was awesome, but the ablution blocks, they had what they call long drops toilets, and they had all this canvas around the sides, but it got windy and it blew all the canvas down, so all these people had to go to the toilet, and you had all these crowds of about 300 people on each line, and there's about 6 toilets, all watching you do your number twos or whatever you're doing. Oh, embarrassing, mate. I went down the river, stuff that. So, and, you know, it was all chaotic, but this is organised, no hippies, no druggies, no drunks, no problem makers, digital generation. And there's a little 6-year-olds come along. Well, of course, their parents are going to have to come, and then we'll give the parents some free booze and all that, you know. But everything will be free. Well, even though the tickets, we fly them in. You know, at $3 billion profit per concert, you can afford to fly them in. And if Mr. Sir Richard Branson is our main sponsor, he can pay for the whole lot. We're not paying for it because he's going to want our business, right? And if we put him as the sponsor, it means his dog's going to use Virgin. So for the several million it's going to cost them in airfares, he's going to make up big time, right? So it's in his interest to come in behind this project. So good on you, Richard. Check us out, man. And you've got all these other investors and all sorts of people going to want to get behind this, man. When you got superstars, you got business. And as I said before, what will the digital generation want? What they're going to want most is to meet the superstars, right? And as I said in my other videos, I was with Hank Marvin, and for you who don't know who he is, he's the first of the music superstars from Great Britain, and that was the Shadows, right? Cliff Richards and the Shadows, because they were the first. Everybody remembers it, everybody wants to know them because they were the first to do it. They were the first famous superstars with music. So anyway, he's been here quite a few times to my place, and I'm going to get an appointment with Hank and take Tarly with me. He's going to beat Hank. That'll be awesome, mate. So you'll be able to follow that one on Instagram. And Hank came here one time because I left my umbrella. We were out in the morning, I left my umbrella behind. I got to lift back with my best mate. So I ring up Hank and say, bro, can you drop off my umbrella? I left it behind. Yeah, so he drops it back, right, and I'm talking to my neighbour outside, and I told her that Hank was coming to drop the thing. She loved Hank because Hank was the superstar she followed. I said, he's coming. She said, really? I said, yeah, he's been heaps times. So next thing he walks around the garden, she was so stoked. And she went and told all her friends after. So this is what happens, and for these young people, for them to meet the superstars, part of the deal with the superstars here, if you're coming to perform here, you've got to give 3 hours of every day that you're here back to our fans for meet and greet. So, and the special lovely area we have set up with all the cameras, our young people can come and meet their favourite superstar. They got 1 minute to ask the superstar a question about the superstar's records or music or whatever, or their life, have a bit of a chat, have a big hug, big kiss, whatever, and we'll capture it in virtual reality and we'll upload it to our website. And then for the rest of that little person's life, they will be able to tap into that. If they're on a downer, if they're feeling sad, they can watch that and it'll pick them straight up because it'll be in virtual reality. They can also send all their friends to watch it. And this is going to be very appealing for a lot of the digital generation to come along and meet their favourite superstars. How wonderful is that? Okay, we're also doing a revival of all the old school music, from Sade to George Benson, Stevie Wonder, Alicia Keys. Actually, she's not old school, she's young school. But all the old school from the UK as well, you know, the Beatles, the Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. We're going to promote all these guys. Because, you know, there was good music come back in the 70s and 80s. So it's a revival for them here as well. And we'll get young people singing their songs. How cool is that? So that's where we're at, folks. If you watch my next video, you'll see how we're doing the clever marketing, right? As talking about Tarly there. So that's why I wanted to tell you about, and this one here, by the way, that's our, all about our youth group, music superstars, right? Rappers. So there you go. There is what we covered that I sent to you, right, you special people. I sent you that. You were at the seminar with me. Notice I haven't said what the name of the seminar is. So they come to the party and put some money in Tarly's bank account. In my cause to help her get off the street and back into a home and to give her stability. So that's where we're at, folks. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you really like our concept. It is really, really exciting. As I say, I used to be an entertainment promoter. I've got Hank Marvin here. I'll have to twist his arm up his back, put a shotgun to his head and tell him to send email to Bob Geldof to come over. No, I don't have to do that, he's a piece of cake. He'll be happy to back us. Because he's going to want to perform there. So that's good. So we've got Hank over that side for the UK. Over the other side we've got George Benson. George gave me permission to use his song Greatest Love for our podcast for the children, for the introduction and the end. And Stephanie is his manager. And then also Stevie Wonder's son has actually been here to my place because his uncle Stevie's wife's brother was staying with me. Mahia is his name. Stevie will know straight away. I'm telling the truth. That's all good. So through the African American networks, we get the reggae, hip hop, R&B, funk, everything African American. And when you have a look at that picture that I showed you before for Africa, their little child is going to bring up issues for them, and they're going to want to help us, to help all our African brothers and sisters. Oh, by the way, this person here, that's Aswan on the right. Aswan on the right there, and Aswan was with Bob Marley in them, right? And they created the hip hop, by the way, was created in Jamaica by the reggae artist, and U-Roy was the first one in 1967 to write the first rap album. It was not done by the Americans, they stole it, right? They're not the creators of the hip-hop culture. It was taken into the Bronx by the Jamaicans, who created it with no gangster rap, no swearing, none of that rubbish. It was clean hip-hop. Now, as one of myself being music production masters, we're joining forces, we're creating new clean hip hop music and dance civilization, right, for the implementation into the sustainable cities of the future, sustainable cities in paradise. So that's where we come from, folks. So I hope that's answered all your questions there, and if you have any other questions, look, just send it through to me, and watch the other two videos as well that I'm putting in the email for you to watch. Right, you have a nice day. See ya.